Om yo brahmanam vidadhati purvam yo vai vedanscha prahinoti tasmai tamhadevam atmabuddhi prakasham mumukshur vai sharanamaham prapadye. Namaste. In this video, we are going to discuss the Manisha Panchakam. It is a matter of great joy for us that so many young people are asking for this. Manisha Panchakam is a very ancient hymn composed by the great Shankaracharya himself. It dates back to the 8th century AD and it is set in a very beautiful story. So actually the meaning of Manisha is the highest conclusive wisdom. What is this highest conclusive wisdom about? It is the knowledge of Advait Vedant, the knowledge of the actual oneness of consciousness, the oneness of all creation, of all created beings. So, 5 beautiful verses on this conclusive highest wisdom of Advait Vedant. What is the very knowledge of Shiva? That is the actual, you can say, essence of the Manisha Panchakam. Now, the story dates back to 9th century, 8th and 9th centuries. See, so long back, look at the level of thinking, look at the level of understanding which you will find in this hymn. And the story goes that Shankaracharya, once he attained the highest knowledge at the feet of his guru, you know, it is such a great life. In fact, today, even if to think of it is so purifying, because Shankaracharya at the young age of 8 years left his home to get the highest knowledge of Brahman spoken of in the Upanishads. And he was, his memory, his knowledge, his mind was so clear that he knew that this was the goal, the purpose of human life, and he set out from home taking sannyas in order to find a guru. And he wanted to take sannyas. He got that permission from his mother with great difficulty, and then he proceeded northward. And when he met his guru, Govindapad, that is another very beautiful story. You will find it entirely in the Shankara Vijayam. And under his guru, he, in Omkarnath, he discovered the highest knowledge of Brahman, the knowledge of pure consciousness, the Tatparya, the meaning of the Upanishads. And he became so deeply absorbed in this. He attained to the highest Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And then after a long time, his guru told him that now you must teach this. So he proceeds to Kashi. This young boy, you can say, he proceeds to Kashi. And there he is now going to give his sermons on this wisdom, this knowledge. So this incident is set in Kashi. One day when he was approaching the Manikarnika Ghat in the early morning for his bath, it so happened that there was one man standing on the steps of the Ghat. You know the narrow lanes of Kashi. So there he saw one person standing, and that person looked so unkempt, like an outcast, that Shankaracharya actually thought he's an outcast, a chandala. By that is meant a person who's either of mixed caste or does not fall in the upper 3 castes, or even a dog eater is called a chandala, one who consumes any kind of meat. So anyway, he thought that he was a chandala, and he just said, please move aside, because he was going for his bath. Now at once from that side came the response, whom are you asking to move aside? Are you addressing this body, or the intelligence within this body, or the pure consciousness that I am? Whom are you addressing as move aside, go aside? Now Shankaracharya was stumped by the question, because he understood that this is no ordinary man. How is he asking me, this kind of a question? So he looked closely at him, and Shankaracharya was himself an avatar of Lord Shiva. So at once he could recognize that this person is an aspect of Shiva. In fact, it was Lord Shiva himself who had come sakshat to help Shankaracharya understand that this knowledge is actually the most practical thing. because it is the same consciousness that shines in all beings. And then the outcast person who was standing there, he continued. He said, look, the same glorious sun shines in the waters of these Ganga waters, which are holy and pure. And the same sun is reflected even in the cesspools of dirty spots in the city of Kashi. So the same sun is reflected. Now, does it hamper the sun? Does it affect the sun where it is reflected? So also I am verily what you are. I am the Atman. I am Brahman itself. And so whom are you addressing as move aside? So at this, Shankaracharya was really shocked into silence. And then it is said that he deeply meditated and brought out these 5 verses, what are called today the Manisha Panchakam. The highest essence of Advait Vedant came out spontaneously from his lips as he addressed the queries of this Chandala, who was none other than Lord Shiva, come in that form in order to bring out this knowledge from Shankaracharya. See, the whole idea is this. The knowledge of Advaita is something which is perpetual, always present, never absent. But its application, its manifestation can get very limited. How does it get limited? It gets limited when we are identified with the body and mind. Identified with any kind of a strong identity, it will limit our sense of being once this identity comes in. So the Manisha Panchakam strikes at the very roots of identity. It helps us understand that this body-mind complex is that through which you are manifesting. But who you really are is pure being. And if that is held to be true, if this is the highest wisdom, then verily each person, each being in this world is verily me in another form. So this is the conclusion of the Manisha Panchakam, but it is put so beautifully in 5 very pithy verses, which I would like to chant before we discuss their meaning. The Manisha Panchakam starts like this. The first verse, Jagrad swapna sushuptishu sfutatara ya samvid ujrumbhate ya brahmadi pipilekanta tanushu prota jagad sakshini saivaham na cha drishya vastu iti dridha prajnapi yasyasti chet chandalostu satu dvijostu gururityesha manisha mama. The meaning, I will give you the brief meaning and then we will discuss it briefly. The indwelling Atman, which is distinctly shining in all the 3 states of the mind, waking, dream and deep sleep, that is the very same all-pervasive invisible thread in which all life is embedded, right from that of the creator to the tiny ant. And it is forever the witness of everything, the Sakshi. Yet it is not knowable by any amount of external intelligence. Whoever has this wisdom and steadfast adherence to this knowledge, he alone, Shankaracharya says, irrespective of his perceived stature in the world, be it lowly or holy, is the real guru, the real preceptor, the supreme transcendental consciousness, that verily he is, so he is my guru. This is my conclusive knowledge. So this is the second verse. We will go into the third verse of the Manisha Panchakam. Shashvanashwarameva vishvamakhilam nishchitya vacha guru nityam brahma nirantaram vimrashata nirvyaja shantatmana bhutam bhavicha dushkritam pradahata samvinmaye pavake prarabdhaya samarpitam svavapurityesha manisha mama. The entire universe, although appearing to be like something continuous, is actually perishing and forever changing. It only appears to be continuous. Check this out and see. But Brahman is that permanent, everlasting, undifferentiated and peerless pure being which can be intuited with a clear intelligence and serenely focused mind. Whoever engages in the steadfast contemplation of this truth attains to that knowledge of Brahman, and in its flame, in its radiance, it burns out the burden or the scars of past, present and future actions. Because the only thing which withholds this knowledge from us is karmafal. So that is burnt out. And thus completely merging into the state of pure being, and one in whom all this karma is burnt out accepts the prevailing body existence as only due to his past action of prarabdha, and as a witness to its consequences. Such a person, whether he is a chandala or he is a dvija, whether he is of a lower caste or higher caste, he verily is my preceptor. This is my conclusive wisdom. Now, he's saying something very deep here, you see. The entire universe appears to be continuous, but it is not. If you check your own perceptions, you will see, even today science will prove this to you, that you are only perceiving as much as your equipment is laden to perceive. Only that part, that much of reality you are perceiving. And how? Through the lens of your mind, through the lens of its conditioning. So when there are so many factors involved in what you are seeing, obviously what you are seeing may not be the reality as it is. Vivekananda used to say, suppose you were laden with capacity to perceive UV radiation or infrared radiation, you would see a completely different world. Which means you are perceiving as much of reality as your instrumentation has laden you with, as your instrumentation will permit. Which means I am seeing only a slice of reality, that also interpreted by my mind, which is conditioned by Maya. So how much of reality am I seeing? This is what he is saying, this world. See, Shashwan Nashwarameva Vishwamakhilam Nishchitya Vacha Guru. It is ever changing. Always the very nature, samsarati iti samsara. It is ever moving and changing. And Jagat comes from Gacha Dhatu, which means going away, slipping away constantly. Yet we try to give it some form of continuity. See, this is the great error of human life. That which is not continuous, we are trying to find continuity. The only thing which gives continuity even to your identity is your memories. Nothing else. Yes, but these memories themselves are so flimsy. They pop in and out. And after some time, they will dissolve. So our own identity itself is not continuous, actually speaking. What to speak of our perceptions? So perception, mentation, sensation, everything is on this flimsy ground of it pops up and pops out. We are trying to make some sense out of it. So this is the meaning of Shashwa Nashwarameva Vishwamakhilam. The very nature of this manifest existence is like this. Nityam Brahma Nirantaram Vimrashata Nirvyaja Shantatmana. But Brahman is not like this. It is ever present, everlasting, eternal, because not that it is in, it is eternally present in time. Time is present in it. It is far beyond time. Time arises when mind arises. Consciousness encompasses both time and mind, that's why. So you see, you can't even say it is eternal in time, because time arises and vanishes also in it. It is far beyond time. So it is ever present, everlasting reality. But what is ever present, we are not able to see. What is always discontinuous, we are giving continuity. This is the beauty of Maya. It makes you see the unreal as real, the real as unreal. And Brahma Nirantaram Nityam, ever present, never absent. Vimrishata Nirvyaja Shantatmana, only one of very steady mind will be able to see this undifferentiated and peerless continuity of consciousness that is ever present. Continuity of Brahman, which is ever present. Bhudam bhavi cha dushkritam pradahata samvinmaye pavake. And it is only when the purifying effect of this knowledge burns out the karmas of past, present and future. See, this is the most important point practically, because many times, we don't work on our karma at all. We straight away want knowledge. What is it that is creating this obstacle of Maya is actually our past karmas, the karma fall coming to us and blocking this. Even if you know it in terms of vritti, you do not know it in terms of experience. It is only due to this. The karmic pure karma fall which is required, the punya karma that is required in order to arrive at this knowledge is not there. So, but one intuition of this also will burn up a whole lot of past and present karma. This is what he's saying. Because the power of this knowledge is so high, so great. It can, like a pavaka, like fire, it will burn up the effects of past and present karmas. And one in whom this is completely burnt up, he considers his bodily existence to be only due to his prarabdha. Prarabdha is nothing but a slice of the sanchita karma, which means what? See, the total effect of our karma fall is called sanchita. But a slice of that is given in this life to be exhausted. That is called prarabdha. So as long as prarabdha is there, life will continue. Life in this body and mind, life as the Jivatman will continue, but his mind can rest in Brahman if he has attained the highest knowledge. If a large part of his past karma, the sanchita, has been purified, the negative karma fall has all been annulled through very positive actions, then this will happen. He goes only by the stream of his prarabdha, and when that is exhausted, he attains complete liberation. So whoever realizes this kind of existence here, he verily is my guru. This is the idea. He verily is my preceptor, whether he is a chandala or a brahmana. So you see, the highest knowledge is being encapsulated and given to us as in very simple form. If you go into Hinduism, this karmic theory is a huge one. And they will tell you there are 3 types of karma: sanchita, prarabdha and agami. What you do today to correct your prarabdha and sanchita is the agami karma. Unless all these 3 are regulated, knowledge is not possible. Now, sanchita karma can be very well made positive through punya karmani, through good works. And prarabdha can definitely be cleansed and made pure by indulging in sadhana and in doing good works, dana, charity, japa, sadhana, all of this will help in producing very positive prarabdha, but it's all agami. You see, what you do today is what is going to settle all these karmas in the future. So the idea is this: only when these karmas are exhausted, the highest knowledge will become stable. So that is why this kind of a verse you will find in the Manisha Panchakam. The important thing is to pay importance to 2 things. Our everyday work should be positive, dedicated, committed, and it can be so that it can be offered to the Lord. It will produce very positive karma fall and aiming at this highest knowledge through sadhana. These are the 2 most important things about this verse. The next verse is goes deeper into the nature of this creation. Yatiryam naradevata ahamityanta sfuta grihyate yad bhasardaya deha vishaya bhanti swato chetanaha tam bhasyai pihitarka mandala nibham sfurtim sada bhavaya yogi nivritamanaso hi gururit tesha manisha mama. The knowledge by which all life forms, human beings, animals and the gods also project the eye sense, by which the mind, the organs of perception, sensation, mobility, everything which are essentially insentient appear to be sentient, and which is the source of light. That knowledge, that consciousness, which is the source of light but eclipsed by the mind due to its all sorts of ways, but which lights up the mind itself, which is the cause for the functioning of the mind, which appears to be functioning by itself. So this consciousness, that is the supreme knowledge, and whoever has steadfast contemplation and is established in this, he verily is that yogi is my preceptor, and this determinate knowledge or conclusive wisdom is mine. Which means I hold one who holds this knowledge to be my preceptor, whoever he is. Now you see, ya tiryam nara devatabhi ahamityanta sputa grihyate. This aham sense, I sense, is present in all creation, in all beings. The I thought is different, but the I sense, what is called aham sphuran, that is the same. The sense of being that pervades all creation. It is ever present in every living being. You will see that sense is there, the sense of I am. Yad bhasa hridayaksha deha vishaya bhanti swato achetana. And it lights up. What does it light up? Everything that this insentient body and mind hold. See, body is considered matter in Vedanta, and even mind is subtle matter. They all belong to Prakriti. Body, mind, the 24 cosmic principles, this world of objects, everything is Prakriti. But what is it lit up by? By what light do you perceive it? It is the light of consciousness. So whatever you are able to objectify, whatever is an object of your perception, is considered insentient jada in Vedanta. The subject is sentient, chetana, which means consciousness, and that which is an object, that is considered jada, insentient. So everything, right from the world of objects to the mind, is insentient. He's saying, it is lit, it functions due to the presence of consciousness. The very mind through which you perceive the body and the world of objects is lit by the presence of the Atman shining behind it. Isn't it? It is consciousness that makes the mind conscious. By itself, it is achetana. Swato achetana means this. Everything else, it's an object, it is insentient. So whatever is an object, see, this is the great clue of Advaita Vedanta. Anidam Chaitanyam. The very definition of Chaitanyam is it cannot be made into an object. It cannot be made into this. And whatever can be made into an object, whatever can be seen as this, perceived, it is an object. It is not the subject. So it is insentient, it is jada. This is the understanding. And whoever understands this complete sequence, that it is I who light up the mind through which I perceive the body and the world of objects, I am that supreme light which lights up the whole world. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Who understands this, he verily is my guru, my holy preceptor, whether he is a chandala or a dvija. So you see, again and again, he is turning our attention back to the light of pure consciousness. There is such a beautiful hymn called Dakshinamurti Stotram, where this is so beautifully actually portrayed by, it is also a hymn by Shankaracharya. He says in one of the stanzas, Nana chidra ghatodara sthita maha deepa prabhabhaswaram jnanam yasya tu chakshuradi karna dwara bahispandate janamiti tameva bhantam anubhati etat samastam jagat tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Which means, just like how if you keep a very bright light in a earthen pot which has 1,000 holes, how the light will stream out of those holes, how it would look. So also verily is Dakshinamurti. He holds the light of Brahman ever shining in his heart, and it radiates out through the senses, through the mind, through his action, through everything. Like the light placed in that earthen pot. He is effulgent with that light. His very senses are bright and lit up by that light. And Nana chidra ghatodara sthita maha deepa prabha bhaswaram jnanam yasya tu chakshuradi karana dwara bahispandate. That supreme knowledge radiates from him like that. And janamiti, that is why when he says, I know this pure being, verily everything else reverberates with that. It borrows Chaitanya from him, as it were. This idea is there even in the Upanishads. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. It is by the light of Brahman that the sun is lit up, the moon lights up, everything around you is bright. It's by the light of Brahman. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. He is lit up with pure consciousness and he lights up everything. So like this, beautiful expressions of this very same knowledge are there in the different hymns. If you can connect with the great scriptural heritage of India, you will get the knowledge of Brahman unawares. Because they are talking of that only, not of a creator God, the essential consciousness that is present in all creation, pure being that pervades everything. They are talking of that reality. So let's go to the last verse of the Manisha Panchakam. Yad saukhyam buddhilesha leshata imesha kradayo nivrita yad chitte nitaram prashanta kalane labdhva munir nirvritaha yasmin nitya sukham buddhau galitadhi brahmaiva na brahmaved yakashit sasurendra vandita pado nunam manisha mamam. The meaning is, by realizing only a few droplets of this ocean of absolute existence, consciousness and bliss, Indra and other gods are enjoying their immense pleasures. In this world too, the seers of clear intellect who are immersed in a greater bliss only due to their concentration on this Supreme Brahman, through unwavering commitment, when the seer ultimately and completely merges in the self, he is no more the knower of Brahman, but he is verily Brahman. Whoever understands and holds steadfast this knowledge of the perfect existence, consciousness and bliss absolute, whatever his perceived stature in the world, irrespective of it, he is my holy preceptor. And he is having feet worthy to be worshipped even by Indra and the higher gods. This is my Indra and the gods. This is my determinate knowledge or conclusive wisdom. So what he is saying here is that all bliss comes from Brahman. Even the bliss which the gods are enjoying in their heavens, where if you actually try to find out where that happiness is coming from, you will see happiness actually filters out through your mind, but comes from your soul. It comes from the Atman. It filters out through the mind. So we feel it is mental, but actually the source is far beyond the mind. So this is what he is saying, that even the bliss that the gods enjoy, Indra and the others enjoy, that is coming from the same Brahman. And the bliss which the sages enjoy, which is of a higher order, because it is not sense pleasure. The bliss that they are feeling is the bliss of contemplation. It is the bliss of absorption in the eternal Brahman. So that bliss is of a higher order, that is also coming from the same source. And whoever knows this, not that he becomes a Brahmavid, he verily becomes Brahman. A knower of Brahman verily becomes Brahman only. Brahmavid Brahmaiva bhavati. Why they say that is, this knowledge means being. And it can only happen with a transformation of your own consciousness. And that is why it is knowing is being here. In fact, because there's no other word for knowing in English, we are using the word knowing. It is more of the nature of being and becoming. So whoever understands and holds fast this highest bliss, which is of the very, that's the very nature of Brahman. Not that Brahman is blissful or existent or consciousness or he's conscious. It is consciousness itself that we are calling Brahman. Existence itself that we are calling Brahman. This itself that we are calling Brahman. So this is not like a quality of him. It is It's his very nature. And whoever understands this verily becomes Brahman and not merely a knower of Brahman. And to such a one, irrespective of his perceived stature in this world, he is verily my holy preceptor. He is my guru. So with this, I conclude the Manisha Panchakam. This is my conclusive wisdom, final word on this knowledge. Shankaracharya ends it like this. So we have iti Srimad Shankara Bhagavataha Kritau Manisha Panchakam Sampurnam, the end of the Manisha Panchakam. But what is the hymn actually highlighting? It is highlighting the essential nature of Brahman, which is the same in everyone. And whoever has brought it into complete manifestation, into complete knowledge, in every action of his life, he verily is the Guru. That is why Vivekananda used to say, religion is nothing but a manifestation of the divinity already in man. It is the manifestation of the divinity already in man. There is no doubt that the divinity is already there. But how much have you brought it into manifestation? That is the essential point. And that is where actual religion comes, where you understand that it is to be lived in every moment of life, in every breath, in every thought, in every understanding, that the essential nature of every being, whatever he may be manifesting, is only Brahman actually. And if he can manifest that, he becomes as holy as the Guru. He is verily the preceptor. This is the idea behind the Manisha Panchakam in 5 short verses, the essence of the Advait Vedanta. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.